to the victors. Hail to the victors indeed. Low seed, pulled it out. Go blue. Glad to see it.
Me too.
Also, yeah, I'm sure you
It helped my bracket,
are. Oh, that's good then.
and then
Yeah.
everything else fell apart.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm not drunk. You're drunk.
I feel like it.
Yeah. So this should be fun then.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the X Bomb Sports Live Show. We're here and we're drunk for St. Patty's Day. So hope everyone else out there is having a good time as well. I'm Drew Willem, and as usual, Andrew Valentin.
I'm sleepy today.
Yeah.
I'm
Tired
playing
guy.
one of the seven dwarves. There's 7 of them, right?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It's been a long couple of days, folks. So bear with me if I'm working on getting the energy back. I just spent a lot of it on Blow the Whistle. We just did the radio stuff. So now we're here on the TV side. So
If I get up and slap him,
yeah, it does
head,
happen.
Don't be alarmed.
Yes, exactly.
For a
I may
purpose.
need that. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
It
'cause
may
he'll be
need
sleeping.
it. If he goes to me and is like, "So what do you think, Andrew?" and you hear me go, you know what's gonna happen. So.
Yeah. Well, let's get right into it so we can get through it, and you can go take a nap.
Yes, absolutely.
All
Let's
right,
do
we're
this.
talking baseball free agency.
Woohoo!
It's been pretty wild and crazy.
Oh.
And I've got a few birds for the LA Dodgers after
Do you now?
pulling another one out of their ass.
Yeah.
But Dodgers signed Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
First baseman signs a 6-year, $162 million deal. Wow! Like, look at the lineup.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And they add another power at first base.
Yep.
And so, what do you think of this deal and LA going forward with him added to the mix?
You know, obviously, we're gonna get to the reason why he's now a Dodger, but I mean, I did not see this move coming. There was a lot of signs pointing to obviously the Yankees, but once they had re-signed another player we'll get to here soon. But it
Sounded like he didn't really want to go to the Yankees.
No, I don't think. I mean, listen, to go from Braves to Yankees, I think is almost disrespect, right? I mean that's like sacrilege on that part. You know, they have a very close knit rivalry with one another. But listen, the Dodgers picking up a guy like Freddie Freeman at first base. I mean, listen, even if you're not going to use him at first base, right? Even if you just plug him in as your new DH, right? Because now having the universal DH, it's not like Freeman necessarily has to step into that first base role right off the bat. You can use him however you want to. Now, granted, I think he's still capable and good enough to be the first baseman out there on the field. But when you consider the talent that they have now on that on that lineup and that roster, 4 MVPs right now with Kershaw and Betts and Bellinger, and now you add Freeman. Like this team is once again stacked, and I think it's fair to say it again. If adding Freddie Freeman, this team does not get to the World Series yet again and does not win it, it's gonna look like a disappointment. It's gonna be a hard shocker. This team should be like rolling through the titles, like back-to-back championships, 4 in like 6 years kind of thing.
The stretch the Giants had.
Yes, exactly. It should be that kind of a dynasty build for this Dodgers team. They're that good at this point.
With the talent they have on that roster right now,
Yes.
top to bottom, yeah, they should be.
Absolutely. Considering too that he is still in that prime for who he is as a player, I can't imagine what else is coming from him. I'm really excited to see. I'm excited to see this Dodgers team. I am. And I agree with you. Certainly, some birds will fly because of this. I feel the same way because certainly Freeman was sought after by a lot. But I am very excited once again to see what the Dodgers can do with this team. If they're not at the top of the league again, I don't know. Something's wrong then. Something's clearly off. But I think they got the perfect guy for at the right time. Honestly.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be a real scary lineup, and they should be favorites to win a title.
I would think so.
But
yeah,
we'll see.
If they don't come anywhere close to that Seattle Mariners record, I think that's going to be another shocker.
Right.
I would say 112 wins should be somewhere in that range, something like that.
They should win a lot of games. Some
Absolutely.
solid pitching as well. So, all right, move on to the next. A guy who wanted to win, who left.
Well, win. Right?
Yeah,
and
right.
win.
Yeah. Hurts me a little.
Yeah.
To see him go in the offseason, but Chris Bryant getting a little bit of that thin air in his life.
Yep.
Going to the Colorado Rockies on 7 years, $182 million. Could have had more.
Absolutely.
Could have had more.
Could have had a lot
Could have
more.
had more. Cubs offered more,
Yeah.
but it's all right. They're proven to be right on their evaluation of those players, and to what he just got, they would have overpaid
Yeah.
compared to what he
Absolutely.
got. But for what he was producing at the time, it was right.
Yeah.
And they all bet on himself, including Chris Bryant, and didn't end up getting as much. But what did you think of this deal and him end up going to a place we weren't too sure if that's where he would end up?
Right. Well, I mean, speaking of betting on yourself, I think somebody certainly bet on him more than anything. And look, when you have the superpower agent that is Scott Boras in your back in your corner in behind you as your backup, that certainly doesn't hurt, right? This feels like a Scott Boras type of move, right? Could you have made the move to Philly? Could the Philadelphia Phillies have paid him somewhere in that same range? Maybe, but he probably got more years with more money from the Rockies because look, no Arenado, right?
No
Trevor
Trevor
Story
Story,
at
yeah.
this point does not seem interested in going back to Colorado. He's not been signed yet, but he's not. It doesn't sound like he's going to be interested in going back. If he is, I'll be shocked. But
Maybe this is a move that makes him possibly want to go
yeah,
back.
it's.
So
I mean, it's possible, but I just
think his time is done there.
yeah, that's the thing. I feel
Ready to
like
move
he's
on.
ready to move on, and this is a move that I feel like this is a cash grab for Bryant. And I don't know. I don't know how he feels about it. I mean, maybe he likes this and he thinks my star presence might bring in the players. It's possible, but it's one guy. That's the problem. If it was him and Arenado, I think a lot of people would be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to Colorado, right? We're going where the air's thin and stuff, and where we can
Right.
hit more home runs and all that stuff, and the ball's flying out of our hand fast. Like all of that stuff makes sense. But when you're one guy, which here again, Chris Bryant's had his problems, right? He's had the injuries. He's kind of had those seasons where he's dipped on and off and stuff. So you have to be cautious about that stuff. Is he a great player? Absolutely. Is he one of those top players out there? For sure. But is he a guy that you can necessarily build a franchise around at this point, considering he is now, what, 30, 31, right? He's getting not out of that range, but it's kind of like, all right, you're dying at this point. You're running for a chance to win another ring. Is this really the way you want to go? Is this the move you want to make? I I I I don't see it. I know we already kind of were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But like I don't see how this is a winning move. This
Right.
is this is more of a, if you're talking about winning in terms of cash, oh, you won the jackpot, my friend. But if you want to get W's, if you want to get into the playoffs, man, you better have a magic bat. Like
Yeah.
that can affect everybody in that locker room.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think he'll do well. The thin hair is gonna help. He's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get back to hitting a lot more home runs.
He'll
and-
be an all-star.
yeah, very possible. Well, every
Yeah,
team gets
right, yeah,
one, so and
absolutely.
he's their guy. So
I
he
would
better-
hope so.
He would better be their all-star. And on to another ex-Cub,
Yeah.
Bam Bam
Yep.
Schwarber, cleaning up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he signs a deal with the Philadelphia Phillies. 4 years, $79 million. With him going there, I don't know that they really might have had the money for Brian as well. Maybe that could have been part of that. But
Yeah.
Schwarber is going to a pretty solid place. Pretty solid players along with him there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he'll most likely be their DH.
I would think so.
I would possibly, and then potentially play in the outfield some when guys need a rest, and
Right.
whatnot. But Schwarber going to Philly. How do you think that deal worked out and his fit there?
Well, Bryce Harper's really happy because I
Yeah.
know he was saying if we can't get a star in here, I'm going to be very upset. And Schwarber last year, I think, proved to everybody he's a star. And I think now adding him, I mean, God, if you could have gotten Chris Bryant into that lineup, that's the new murderer's row right there of Harper, Bryant, and Schwarber. That's a killer lineup right there.
That would have been
is-
fun to watch.
That would have been fun to watch, but I agree. With what you said before, I think the Schwarber deal may have somehow killed the chance for Bryant to maybe go to Philly. And listen, Schwarber, absolutely, I think between the two of them over the last few years, he's got the big bat. He's a solid body. Yes, he's had injuries, but they haven't been as severe and taken away a lot of time as it has with Bryant, right?
Right.
And again, universal DH has now changed a lot of things.
Yep.
It makes him now far more valuable, Jesus, far more valuable than he used to be. Where you're like, okay, he's a catcher, but he can't really catch. Okay, he's an outfielder, but he's not really that fast. Where does he work?
He plays better outfield
He
than
does.
than a lot of people give him credit
Yes,
for.
since he's dropped that extra weight where he
Right.
was like 240,
Yeah.
250, whatever he was, and he's now like 230 or something, he plays a lot better in the outfield. But he's clearly a guy that if the DH, if he's on that team, that's where he slots in perfectly. And now that there's the universal DH, he's that guy that you say, like an Edgar Martinez, a Frank Thomas,
Yeah.
you pay that guy to hit home runs.
Like we talked about before, it opens up so many more options, not just in the American League, but now the National League for him to sign.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I think, and could he gotten more? I definitely think he could have hit the 100 million if he went to maybe another team. But I think Schwarber's looking at it saying, I get to go be like a 2-3 punch in that lineup with Harper. And I mean, they've got some good young players coming up. They've got some guys there that are going to look good. So this Phillies team did not look bad last year.
Right.
They got pretty competitive, in fact, at the end there. They were making that push. They were making that last ditch fight to get in there. I think this could be a potential possible move to get them to that next level, maybe even fight to win the division. That's hard to say, but you never know. They get another pitcher in there possibly to help with Zach Wheeler. I think they could be right there. This team is not far off, especially with this move now, of being a playoff contender and possibly a championship contender.
Yeah, definitely happy for Schwarbs getting a nice deal there.
Would have been
going
nice
to
if he came back to Chicago.
Yeah.
On either side.
Yeah.
On either side. Okay, I'll give
been
you
a nice
that.
fit for the Sox, but
Yeah.
I would have loved to have him back for the Cubs.
Especially for like I said, universal DH for the Cubs.
Yeah.
That would have been that's the perfect go-to guy.
Right.
Absolutely.
Something that you will probably like to hear, a little clean sweep for the Oakland A's there. They're just trading everybody. Okay? They trade third baseman Matt Chapman to the Blue Jays and send first baseman Matt Olson to the Braves.
Yes.
Filling in for Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
So it's good for your White Sox. Playoff time when playoff time comes.
I'm getting sick of those A's, man.
I can imagine. So
every time they ruin it for us.
And the Sox have potential to get one of their two solid pitchers coming their way as well. So how do you take this A's just dumping everybody right now?
I mean, I think it is that. It's a dump. It's them basically cleaning house. It's
Prospect
not that
time.
Yeah,
rebuild.
Exactly. It's not that I don't think Matt Chapman and Matt Olson didn't like Oakland. They seem to have really embraced the city. They love the city, but they're getting to that point now where they're in their prime. They want to win. Obviously, the A's were having some decent years there. I mean, they crushed it at one point down there. They were really looking good at one point. But now both of them are really, you could say, all-star caliber, premier players, top of the league kind of guys. Both are great on the hot corners at first and third. Matt Chapman, I think, is arguably the best, maybe one of the best defensive players in baseball, if not maybe the best third baseman in baseball. I don't know. It's arguable, obviously. But Olson, I think it's a great replacement for Freddie Freeman. I think you're getting the quality kind of guy, the leader kind of guy that you need for Atlanta. I would have loved if the Sox made a run at Matt Chapman. That would have been nice, but I know he was going to cost a ton with the prospects, and I don't think the White Sox are just ready yet to give up on some of these guys. Toronto, man, is going to be nasty.
That's another.
How do you pull that off? Like that? God, man,
it's a
Toronto.
Tough lineup.
That is Vladimir Guerrero. He put up all the happy emojis, all the fire emojis. He's excited as ever. Matt Chapman's happy to be with him. They've got the perfect blend of like young stars with veterans now. They're another team where they better be there with like 100+ wins, fighting for the championship at this point.
LA and Toronto.
I mean,
place your bets.
Absolutely. I mean, Vlad was almost the MVP. Chet looked really good. You've got Baggio's kid that's still coming up there.
Yep. Springer's
still doing his thing. My God, man, And who knows? Maybe Correa might go for one of them. For God knows, that's like overkill at this point. That's total overkill.
Right.
But who knows, right? It's God.
You never
I
know what
may
some of these teams are going to do at this point.
yeah exactly. I'm like, if the Blue Jays get one more pitcher, I'll scream. I will. Because again, that's overkill. Really, that's just like you don't need anything more. But Matt Chapman adds a lot. Matt Olson gives the Braves, I think, a good chance to stay in the fight. So I like the signings, and for Oakland, just get those prospects and rebuild. That's all it is. It's time. It's time to start, especially with the new stadium coming in soon.
That's all they can do at this point.
Yes.
Did you break this up for me so it wouldn't hurt so bad
You know what?
going from Bryant to Schwarber, then to the A's, and then back to Rizzo?
I wanted to give you a little.
So it didn't
bit of cushion.
completely
Yes.
stab me
Absolutely.
in the heart. Okay, thanks.
It was
Cool.
listen,
Thanks.
I knew the knife was gonna go into the chest, right? I just didn't want to twist it
Okay.
too much,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do it too fast,
Yep.
then we gotta go to the hospital. There's all kinds of problems.
Well done, sir. Well done.
I'm sorry. You want a hug?
Can you sense the sarcasm in my voice?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Good.
can give you a hug if you
Good.
want. but
You know
I'm-
what? Rizzo's returning to the Yankees.
I'm getting hit because
Yeah.
I'm not wearing green.
You should be
That's-
sleeping right now.
I should be.
First baseman Anthony Rizzo, 2 years, $32 million to return to the Yankees.
Yeah.
Again, another deal way less than what the Cubs offered.
Yeah.
But it seems like he liked it there.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know that he got too many other suitors, and this might be the best deal. And if he liked his time there, he might as well stay. So
Absolutely. Well, and that's the thing is like because we heard that there were rumors of teams obviously looking at him, and the Cubs were certainly one of them that were
Right.
pursuing him, bringing him back. We know how much he's beloved in the city of Chicago. We know how much he loves Chicago too.
yeah,
But that's the thing is I feel like it was maybe between them and the Yankees because I don't want to bash on Rizzo, but let's be honest, the back injury stuff is the concern.
yep,
There's times where he hits that slump, and you know that it's going to be a long one, right? He's hit the drought plenty of times, and then he makes that inevitable climb at the end, which is nice, but you want him to stay consistent. And he's at that point right now in his career where I think the injuries are going to still be a problem. I don't know if he's going to be a full-time player per se. I think they're going to look at him and say, we'll hope for the best, but we may need to get another first baseman in there to take over if he gets hurt. So, I think that's the thing. I think it was between the Yankees and the Cubs because I think a lot of teams were like, we could take a gamble on him, but how much does he want? And if
Right.
this is the kind of price he was looking for, 2 years, $32 million, some of these teams might have been like, that's a little rich for our blood. I mean, if you're coming in, you better be coming in and playing, at the top of your game. So I think but like you said too, I think he's happy in New York. I think he likes it in New York. He seems to have enjoyed himself there. There's still some questions, obviously, with the Yankees. They're trying to figure out this whole Aaron Judge thing.
right.
I'm excited to see how bad that goes because I'm sure the Yankees will just be like, give him all the money. Yeah, just like we did Garrett Cole because they're like the Cowboys. They just pay everybody $1,000 million or whatever it is. They made up numbers. Gajillion, whatever it is, like in Austin Powers with Dr. Evil, just making up big-ass numbers. But I'm happy for Rizzo. He gets paid. I think he's getting that last-ditch I don't want to say maybe not last ditch, but I think he's getting his last best opportunities to play for a chance to win another ring, right? The Yankees give him that good opportunity. He fills a void for them. And he's a team leader and he's a captain. And if the Yankees need something right now, they could really use a guy that's a leader and a voice in that locker room.
Hold everything together.
Yeah, because it sounds like these guys are they were getting at each other's throats a little bit at the end there. So if Rizzo can kind of be like hey, guys, let's take it easy a little bit, then I think you got a winner on your hand.
Yeah, and he's known to be a fun guy in the locker room and
Absolutely.
lighten things up. So.
Yes. Oh, and he'll fight your whole team if he has to
Yeah.
as well. We've seen that.
Yeah.
It's very, very. I love that, by the way, Rizzo. One of my favorites.
Yeah, me too. Loved it. Loved it. Especially against who it was.
Yes,
It was awesome.
absolutely.
So the Cubs,
Yeah,
they make a move.
they did.
It's rather big move, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I in hopes that that it shakes out in a positive way for the team.
Right.
Okay. Cubs signed Seiya Suzuki, 5 years, $85 million.
Yeah.
And Andrelton Simmons, 1 million,
yeah.
1 year, 4 schmil.
Right.
Yeah. Don't care. Thank you. Great. We got an awesome shortstop now. Best in
Right. Yeah.
don't
Exactly.
care. Don't care. But Suzuki,
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of him play, but I've heard numbers, I've heard potential, and also now with this price tag there
Mm-hmm.
comes the pressure of producing
Right.
under that contract
Yeah.
for your new team in a league. Yes, he has played in Japan, but
Right.
this is a new monster playing in the
Absolutely.
majors. So, what do you think of the signing, and what do you think of his game and projecting him going forward for this
Well, first off, I've seen his highlights. I know he was the big thing kind of coming out from Japan. 27 years old, so he's right in his prime. Everything I've heard is that this guy's supposed to be like, an older version of what you would. Not an I shouldn't say older, but he's like Matsui, right? Big. He's not big like Matsui was. But Matsui was a giant, right? Hideki Matsui was a giant. He's this guy. By the way, he's not related to Ichiro Suzuki, so don't think of him on that level. But he's kind of seen in that light of he's a contact hitter. He can hit with power. He's not a big guy, but he has speed around the bases. He's a very mature individual. He understands the game. He understands the strategery, if you will, of baseball. I don't know if that's a word or not, but we'll go with it.
Good defender from
Yeah,
what I heard.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Great glove. He's got great ability. He can play multiple positions around. He can be like your utility guy. He's more so I
Oh,
believe a right.
they have Villar for that.
Yes, they do. They do. But he is, I think, more so a right fielder from what I've understood.
Yeah.
That's kind of his position. Uh, I like the signing. It's a lot of money certainly for a guy, but they were saying he was going to probably warrant a lot because he was, a superstar in Japan. He's the next big thing. Is he Shohei Ohtani? No, he's not. But you're not going to probably find another Shohei Ohtani at this point in time. It's going to be a couple years before we probably find another athlete as big and strong and capable as he is, right?
Right.
But this is an athlete that in Suzuki that I think the Cubs, you can use him, you can put him in with this older lineup, and you can kind of build that roster up, right? You can put him in with guys like Schwindel and all these guys, and he can feel comfortable, feel at home, like he's not having to mix with the young guys, right? Yeah, well, yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
Schwindy City.
yeah, exactly. Schwindy City, baby. But like, this is the thing is like you have an older lineup, right? So he's going to be able to kind of connect with those guys. And listen, I know you kind of brush off Andrelton Simmons. Listen, yeah, it's cheap. Is he going to be very effective? No, he's got still a decent glove. He's not exactly the greatest bat. He's got a decent bat, but he's not the same guy he was so many years ago. But I
This is
will.
a body to fill a spot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Well,
what it
and I
is.
think he's going to be there to help guys like Howard, one of the other younger shortstops coming up, to help them grow in the game. That's, I think, his thing. It's like, okay, I'm here part time. He'll put in the young guy with me, and when he's ready to take over, I'll just kind of be another guy in the lineup, depth, whatever they need. A veteran voice, that's not costing them $30 million or whatever it is that Hayward's costing them, and still has a relatively decent speed too on shortstop. So I think these were good moves. I know they also got Villar. They've got another. I forgot who else they got.
Some
Um,
outdated pitchers to fill
yes,
the staff.
to more or less to say, but
Brian Roberts.
yeah, but even Villar, I like that move. He's 22 years old. He's a utility guy. You need see if you can find a spot for him on the field.
Yeah.
You're gonna be this roster is gonna be going through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
They're gonna be cycling through guys. So.
Yep, and we'll see because they had all that money they were going to spend on other players. Well, hopefully they're going to still plan on where you're going to spend that money on those other guys back then.
I
Well,
hope
you
so.
still have that money. You need to spend it on players.
Yeah, not a soccer team.
Don't be cheap, Ricketts.
Not a soccer team.
Yeah.
And I ain't even talking to Tom. I'm talking to you, Papa Ricketts. We know who runs the money. Sorry, I just had to. Tom gets a lot of heat. I know he's the face. Well, it's Papa Ricketts who owns the team. So make sure he gets the hate. The old bag.
Yeah. Right. Now, on the other side of town, South Side playing the slow game, but I like what they've done with the picking up a few bullpen guys. It's been nice.
Yeah.
Nice addition. Arms that have postseason experience.
Mm-hmm.
Been there before. They signed Josh Harrison to a 1 year, $5.5 million, and Joe Kelly to 2 years, $17 million. Now, Joe Kelly is coming off an injury; is going to take
Right.
a little bit of time, but what he can give you is experience and things that they've shown that they kind of need in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of their signings, bullpen pitchers, and any others you want to throw out
Yeah, I gotta go get a right fielder. And Castellanos, from what I understand, is still out there. I
He's
still worth a look.
He's a nice player.
He'd be a nice player to
He's
get.
going to cost him, though.
It's gonna cost, but I mean, if you're serious about being all in on wanting to win, that's a guy I think you would want to go. After the season he just had, I would say you would want to go all in to win. I mean, for God's sakes, yesterday we just talked about the Bills. They just paid a 32-year-old linebacker $120 million on 6 years. He's getting $20 million a year. You don't call that an all-in move? That's the kind of move you make to try and win games, especially if they're performing at that top level. So they gotta. If it's not Castellanos, you better have somebody in mind that's going to be a star. Harrison's a fill-in, part-time guy. They're going to try and probably find a second baseman. I hope they're really not planning this Andrew Vaughn and second base thing. I will scream if that is the case. He's just not a second baseman. He doesn't fit the mold. He's quick, but he's not that quick. He's not that glove catcher kind of guy. You need a real solid defender. You need a guy that's going to he makes contact with the bat, but he just doesn't fit the mold. So, but, Josh Harrison, it's not expensive, but I'd rather you'd gone expensive. And I know there's not a lot of second basemen out there, but if you would have made a move possibly sooner when free agency had opened before the whole lockout situation, you might have gotten one of the better second basemen out there. But Joe Kelly, I like it. I think then if you make this move, then you've got to move off of Craig Kimbrell, though. I think you've got to try and make a trade. I know that contract is ridiculous.
I think that sounds like the plan anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that seems to be the kind of idea. I think that is the move you make to try and get a second baseman or get a potential top prospect second baseman, something that you have in that infield for the future. Somebody that's going to be that solid piece that you can keep there for a long time. So I think Joe Kelly, is a good move. Like you said, it's going to take some time, but he brings the punky, cocky attitude. I love that. He's got really good stuff. I like his movement. He's a ground ball pitcher. He's gonna try and ground you out. I think he could work well as probably your setup man. Might even be like a short-term reliever kind of guy. He can work in a lot of different facets, but I'm hoping he can be the setup guy to Hendricks being your closer. Move off of Kimbrell, you get a second baseman. Boom. This team's in the World Series, winning the title. Nothing. All right, I got a little cocky.
Toronto's going to have something to say about that.
Just stop.
And
LA. Just stop. Please
I have to rub it in some, too.
I know.
The way you like
and
to
I'm sure,
arrange things.
I was not doing that on purpose. I promise you. It laid out that way. And in Houston.
Guess I'll never know.
Knock it off, too. Knock it off, too, Houston. We're done with you.
Well, what are you going to do when they sign Correa back?
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Well, I know he's not coming to the Cubs, so why not?
You don't know that. Well, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, the Ricketts are cheap, right? They're broke, right? They don't have no money. So.
Well, either way, I think both these teams they're not done yet.
Yeah.
And because there's plenty of free agents still out there.
Absolutely.
And potentials for trades as well. So we will see what happens with both these teams.
Yeah.
But when we come back, we're going to jump into some NBA conferences, Eastern and Western conferences, and see where these teams are stacking up in the standings and how it's going to look going into the playoffs. When we come back on the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. welcome back. I'm still Drew. This is still Andrew, and we're
Yep,
talking NBA. Oh,
absolutely.
breaking news: Damian Williams out with the Bears. And if anybody wanted to know,
Yeah. I don't know how much it moves the needle, but
yeah, doesn't shake my
I
bobber.
like Khalil Herbert. I think he's gonna be
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think Montgomery and Herbert 1-2 punch would be pretty good.
Absolutely.
Solid. But that's for another day.
Yep.
We're talking NBA, and we are going to start with the Eastern Conference,
Mm-hmm.
the playoff six. Sitting at number 1, Miami. Number 2, Milwaukee. 3, Philly. 4, Boston. Number 5, our Chicago Bulls, which
Yep.
are dropping. And number 6, Cleveland. Yep.
Painful.
Yeah, a little bit.
Painful.
Yep. Bulls are struggling. 3
Yeah.
and 3 and 7 in their last 10. But what's when you see the top 6? What do you think of that top 6? You think that's the right order? Any ones you change around?
I would like the Bulls to go to first, but
Well, yeah.
hey, that's a pipe dream. I think at this
When you
point.
don't play defense, you have to outscore teams every night, and
Yes, and when
doesn't work when you have
big man who can't really play with the best of them,
yeah,
that's rough.
yeah.
That's rough going. I mean, listen, Miami right now they've played like the number one. I don't know if they are the true number one. They kind of again they kind of feel like the Jazz, right? The Jazz made the number one seed. What was it last year? We were all kind of looking at them saying they're going to be competitive, and then of course they do what the Jazz do, and they
Right.
kind of fell off. So I mean, listen, this Miami team's really good. They're really good defensively. I think they have a chance. I just don't know how much I'd be sold on them. Milwaukee's Milwaukee. Giannis is doing his thing, playing like the MVP runner-up because I think there's somebody else who's really MVP, and I'll say it later when we get
Uh-huh.
there. But Milwaukee's playing like a well-oiled machine. They're right in that spot where they're 2 games back. If Miami falters a little bit, they're in an opportunity to win and get first in the conference. So they have a chance. They still have a chance. They're still on this hunt, and they're humming right now. Philly, boy, I thought I was getting this thing right, and now, boy, in these last, I mean, they're 7-3 in their last 10, but some of the losses they're taking are just not pretty. That's part of the problem.
And Harden has looked bad in some,
Yeah.
like really bad in some of those
What
losses.
was it last night when they played Denver, right? And it was good old Embiid versus who I think is probably going to be the MVP in Jokic.
I think he might get back to
I think so. He outplayed him in every way. He faked him out with the good old 1-1-2 pass and came around with some jumpers. I like Joel Embiid. He's a dominator, sure, but it's clear if Harden's not going to be there with him, this Phillies team is going to be in some trouble. Boston is Boston. They're
They've
going to
been
be
playing out of their mind lately.
yeah.
and
They're riding strong.
rising up the charts.
They're 8-2. I mean, the only other team that's doing that is Milwaukee that have been playing well. Uh, I love the Bulls. I love them. But man, they're making me want to pull my hair out right now.
They're scaring me a little.
Yeah, I think they're coming a little bit back down to earth. Right?
Yeah.
They started off so strong. Now you've gone through the injuries. Now you're going through a lot of the fatigue and stuff. Of the
DeRozan
season.
looks beat.
I was gonna say he looks tired.
Yep.
He looks exhausted. Levine looks like he's a little bit off his game too, as well. He's
Looks
not,
good last night.
He did. He looked.
He was
great.
attacking and scoring, but still not a lick of defense.
Yeah. That's killing them, and not having that pure big man that can sit down low and battle with the best of them. Nothing against Vooch. He's still a fine player, but he's clear. We've said this from the get-go. He's an offensive weapon, and you need somebody like a Tristan Thompson that, like, took the mushroom from Mario and got plus. And you need a Joel Embiid sized guy. And there's some people that are like, we should have never traded Wendell Carter Jr. No,
That was a good move.
that was a good move.
That was
Now,
a good
granted, yes, it was for Jokic and all that stuff, and I understand it. It's a good move. Promise you.
Yep.
Promise you. Okay. Hang in there, folks. All right. And yeah, Cleveland. They might be a threat. They might be a threat. I don't know where they're at though. That's the thing. I don't know what they're at as a team. They're tall. That's kind of it. One short guy and a lot of tall guys. That's how I describe them. I mean, They haven't been winning lately. I think the Bulls have a good chance to at least win the next few games against them. So I don't know. We'll see. That's where I stand. I think the line. I think it's just fine. I just like the Bulls to move up
Yeah, of
a
course, we'd
couple.
love to see the Bulls move up a couple,
Yeah.
but it's going to be a struggle. They have the toughest record, or it's toughest schedule remaining.
Oh
So it's going to be
God.
with the way they haven't been playing defense and
Yeah.
the way they look. Some of them look real tired. I mean, yes, Patrick Williams is hoping for a return next week, which is
Right.
awesome. Hopefully, Lonzo Ball not too long after that.
Yep.
Um, maybe get DeRozan some rest,
Hmm.
Zach LaVine some rest, but you definitely want to see these guys play together, all together,
Yes.
for a handful of games going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Miami plays really tough defense. They're good on offense. Them, Milwaukee, Philly, they all deserve to be up there in the 1, 2, 3 spots. They've all been playing great basketball.
Yeah.
Yes, Philly has struggled some lately, so we'll see where that ends up. See if Embiid and Harden can get things together. But
Hmm.
Boston, like I said, Boston's playing out of their mind. They're rising up the ranks fast. Chicago's dropping fast.
Yeah.
It's not good. Cleveland, I think, might be one that ends up dropping out of the top 6 at some point as
I could
well.
see
Jared
that.
Allen's hurt right now, I
Yeah.
believe. And, he's been an all-star big man for him, so
Absolutely.
he's been awesome. Yeah. So I think once we moving on to the next handful of teams here, I think there's going to be at least one or two that jumps up into the top 6, and I hopefully it's not at the cost of our Bulls dropping down. But
Right.
let's just get into there. The next handful of teams, the playing for the play-in. At 7, you have Toronto, 8 Brooklyn, 9 Charlotte, 10 Atlanta, and Washington and New York are sitting on the outside.
Yeah.
So how do those stack up for you? And do you see Washington or New York jumping up in there at all?
I like Toronto a lot. They've started to really impress.
Playing well.
What can I say about Brooklyn? Okay, you score a lot of points. We expect that from Kevin Durant and obviously Kyrie Irving. I just
Your
don't know.
boy,
Yeah,
killing it.
he's not playing, and I don't know where the chemistry of this team is at. I don't feel like that. I feel like it's all individuals playing on a team. That's what it feels like. Everybody's going for their shot. Nobody's playing as a unit.
Oh, things will all like
Implode.
get cohesive
Oh.
once Ben Simmons gets there.
I like my word better of implode, but
Yeah.
yes.
I'm just trying to set you off.
I know you. I think I honestly. I'll throw this though. I think Charlotte and Atlanta. They're a young team. They've got some scorers on their side. They've been holding their own lately. If they catch a fire here at the end a little bit, I think it's a chance to possibly jump Brooklyn. Possibly, honestly, Washington and New York. They're hanging on by a thread. Washington might have the best chance, but Bradley Beal would have to do like what a certain Mr. King in LA has been apparently having to do if they only want to win games, and let's go for 40 or 50 a night. So,
Yeah.
in New York, Julius Randle's got to. If you haven't seen the movie Escape from New York, Julius Randle, I would highly recommend you watch the movie and do the very same. Please.
Come to Chicago.
Yeah, why not? We
Yeah.
can use a big man.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd like a power forward that can hit some. Well, he can't really hit threes this year, but it's maybe don't make that promise to charity right off the bat. Every 3 you're gonna donate money, and then you're bricking every single one of them. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Yeah, but that's I honestly, yeah, I think Toronto could jump in over Cleveland. I think Brooklyn could possibly fall down. And I mean, of those teams, honestly, Charlotte's the one that I'm still giving love to them, just because they're a young unit. They're coming up. Again, they need one more star key piece, and I think they can be a team that'll jump into that 6. So give it to next year. We'll see what they can do then.
See, okay, so I think Toronto and Brooklyn are for me are 2 of the teams that I think could jump into the top 6.
Okay.
And Charlotte and Atlanta could move up into their spots, where Cleveland and what I hope the way it's not Chicago falling back
Hopefully
into those
Boston.
spots. Hopefully Chicago getting players back. act together a little better
Yeah,
and starts playing better. But
absolutely.
yeah, I see them being ones that could end up falling out of the top 6 and Toronto and Brooklyn moving up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, on to the Western Conference. The playoff 6, we have at number 1 Phoenix, number 2 Memphis, 3 Golden State, 4 Utah, 5 Dallas, and 6 Denver. How do you think this is going to shake out? How do you think it's looking right now and going forward?
I mean, what can we say about Phoenix at this point other than
Unreal.
they're really good.
Even with Chris Paul injury.
Yeah, they're really good. 56-14, man. They're not even at 20 losses yet. Still, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. I think Memphis is gonna lock in that number 2 because I think Golden State's having those issues.
And then Steph out for what, probably the rest of the regular season, it
That's what it's
seems
sounding
like.
like. They said
Yeah.
indefinitely. Sounds like they said he will be ready for playoff time. That's what
Yeah.
they're aiming for. This obviously I think is a good move though in the same time because this now gives Jordan Poole the chance to move into that point guard, allows Klay Thompson to move into that shooting guard, get his shots off, feel his rhythm a little bit more. All the talk has been Klay Thompson's not happy with his situation, right? He's kind of been more of a bench guy than the starter because clearly Jordan Poole, your boy from Michigan,
Absolutely.
he's fit in like a glove with
Yep.
that team. He's perfect.
He's been awesome.
And he's what they need. They need a shot of young energy on that team. They're an older team. They need those guys like him and James Wiseman on that roster. They need those
If he
guys.
ever plays
If
again.
he ever plays again, of course. But I think Golden State could even probably drop further because Utah, we know they fortify themselves really well with a lot of good defense. Although they themselves have their own locker room issues with Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. Not going at each other's throats, but I guess it's awkward in the locker room is the word. So it sounds like one of them might be asking for a trade by next season.
We'll take him. We'll take him.
Gobert, je ne sais quoi, my friend. We will make Chicago the place of the French, whatever.
I thought he was Australian.
No, he's French.
Rudy Gobert? Are you sure?
I'll look it up real quick as I explain it. But no, look, I don't. Again, they feel like that Miami team, right? If really good defense, really good team. They're always solid. They at one point last year, like we said, they were the top team, and then they faltered off. They for whatever reason they're missing that piece that they just need to help get them over the hump. They never have that guy. So I think they're going to be right there and slotted in that 4 spot. They could move up to 3 if Golden State continues to slide down the way they have been. Dallas has really turned it on. They're 10-2 since getting Dinwiddie.
Yep.
He hit a huge shot against the Brooklyn Nets. I like that team a lot now. They look real. They look again like a well-oiled machine. They are pumping right now. They are cooking with gas in Denver. The MVP. I gotta say I think he is the MVP. If it's not him, it is Embiid. But
I think he's proved that with his other top teammates out.
Yeah, no Murray, no Porter Jr., and he's doing all the work, and he's making his other teammates better
because he's getting the assist as well.
I will trade all of the next 5 years first-round picks with Jokic or with Vucevic if you would like to make that swap, Denver. I am okay with that. AK, you have the connection.
Yeah.
I would say use it.
That's his guy.
I would say
I think he's gonna try.
Why
his
not?
contract's up at some point.
Right. Exactly. And
some point soon he's up for a new contract.
And I mean, listen, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, those are nice. Mark Rose. Zach LaVine. I mean, come on, man. It's Chicago. Yeah. It ain't Denver. It's Chicago. Mm-hmm. You could have that. You could have the statue right next to that man.
Oh,
you could have it.
100% on board with that.
Absolutely. By the way, Rudy Gobert, he is from France.
Oh, okay. Parlez-vous français?
I was waiting for you to give me something like that.
Oui.
It's a baguette. All right, enough.
All right.
I'm done.
Anyways, yeah, I think for me with the Steph injury, this gives. I think Jordan Poole stepping into the starting rotation will be fine for them because he's been playing really well this season, but he's not Steph.
I think it gives you a glimpse too into their future.
Right.
They're getting ready for that next level.
But I think they will drop some with Steph being out for might be the remainder of the regular season.
Yeah.
Phoenix and Memphis, I think, are pretty locked in. Utah, Dallas might be the team that moves into that third spot
Mhm.
with the way they've been playing.
Absolutely.
Denver, I think they're going to stick right around 5-6. Just Jokic has been playing out of his mind. Yes, he is the MVP, but been having to do it. He's not all on his own, but he's having to do a lot of the work. I wonder
Yes.
if at some point that breaks down a little. I doubt it the way he's
Yeah.
still going, but
Yeah.
you never know.
It's very James Harden-esque where it's like he's got to be getting tired, right? He's
Right.
7 feet, 280. There's no way you're not telling me he's like, I'm exhausted. Either that or good cardio on you, man. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
Teach me your ways, please.
He's a phenomenal player and fun
Absolutely.
to watch
Oh yeah.
all the way
So
around.
I would say probably one of the best well-rounded big men out there by far.
But I would well-rounded player in general.
Yeah, yes,
like,
absolutely.
Just talent-wise, like he can do everything.
Yeah. Can we put him in the top 10 or top 15 finally? Can we just say that? Can we just finally say that? I'm sick of that argument.
I think we might.
Please.
But so the next set of teams playing for the play-in on the outside, we have Minnesota at 7, the Clippers at 8, the Lakers at 9, and New Orleans at 10, with San Antonio Spurs, Portland, and Sacramento looking on the outside in. See any of those teams moving into the top 6? Any of the teams on the outside looking in, moving into the top 10?
Tell you what, by the way, congrats to Greg Popovich, all-time winningest coach, well deserved. For those who don't know, if you don't know his story, actually was the GM of the Spurs and gave himself the head coaching job. Only man to ever do that to himself. And look at what he's done. I think he made a good hire. I got to be honest.
Yep.
I think they honestly could slip into that number 10 spot because from what I keep looking at in LA, I'm enjoying watching. If you haven't watched Winning Time on HBO Max, folks, you have a lot more fun watching that than you do these Lakers right now. When LeBron goes off for 50, it's not because it's because he's that good, but at the same time, I think it's less of I'm trying to win the game because we got to get in the playoffs. I think it's about I got to win this game because Russ sucks and I'm frustrated and we have to win. I have to be on top. I have to score points.
I'm the king.
I'm a king.
I'm the king.
It just
king up.
Yeah, it's a mess right now with the Lakers. They are complete dysfunction.
Russ's airball and shot. And
shout out to Karl Anthony Towns and Patrick Beverley for the mockery on him.
That was hysterical.
And then of course, what does Russ do? He does this whole passive aggressive. I don't care what they say. Yes, you do. You clearly care. You wouldn't mention it if you didn't care. You wouldn't answer that question. You would just be next question. But whatever.
I've seen that from him.
Exactly. I think the Clippers might fall out too. They're one who I'm iffy on. I don't know. They play well as a team. Paul George might be back by playing tournament time. I don't know. But if he's not, you've got to go in with those guys. And they've played well. They've played fine. But you've got to win to get Paul George back. And I got a feeling Kawhi.
And then how long does it take him to get
exactly? He's got to get back into
the
shape.
lineup. Yeah. So
and Kawhi is probably never coming back because they think he's frustrated at this point. And Minnesota might be able to get in there. They might be able to get in there. A lot's going to have to happen. But again, they're another team where I feel like, Karl Anthony Towns went for 60. That's great. I also have the feeling, though, this is going to be a team that gets split up. You know what I mean? Like, Anthony Edwards is nice, but I feel like D'Angelo Russell might want out. And Karl Anthony Towns, at some point, you want to move on, right? Like, you want to get to a team that can win. Just saying. So, I'm not even wearing anything, but you guys know what I'm saying. I made that comment once before when they were talking about big men. I'll say it again.
Only the Bulls.
Come to Chicago. But I don't know about Minnesota. Again, Minnesota, good team, fine. But what are they? They're again, it feels like individuals playing basketball really for them. Yeah, I'm not even gonna pour any stock into New Orleans at this point. You don't even have Big Boy back, so and even when you do get Big Boy back, I don't even know if it's gonna be worth it.
Right.
That's why I think the Spurs possibly could jump in there because I feel like New Orleans. Even who knows? If Zion Williamson comes back, it might even hurt the team because now you're taking the shots away from McCollum, which he's been pouring it on as of late. I mean, now you have to try and fight for time with him and the ball. That's something you don't want to have to deal with. So I give it to San Antonio. I think they can make it in. Portland and Sacramento is. I don't know.
De'Aaron Fox is a stud.
Oh, him and Sabonis.
They've been
look
playing
like,
some great ball.
Yes, they look like the duo that you say, all right, these are the two guys. Everything goes around them.
Right.
So maybe I
And
don't want to say they were right on it, but
the young rookie from when the Bulls played him, the young rookie from Baylor,
yes,
lit him up.
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Yes.
So they have some pieces. It just not quite there.
Just don't beat the Bulls. That's all we ask.
Right.
So, but yeah.
I think if any of these teams that would have a chance to potentially move up is Minnesota.
Yeah.
But I think as far as the rest, they're gonna stick around that area. Yeah, I'm Spurs. Maybe the Kings.
Just because it's Greg Popovich
can push in there. Yeah. But overall, I think the West is kind of mostly set.
We watch the kingdom fall on the West Coast. The crown is cracking, folks.
Yep.
Oh boy. It's a pleasure to watch. And you thought Russ was the answer, LeBron. Why? Why did you think that? Gotta put more energy into DeMar, but thank you very much.
And we thank you very much for being here and watching us.
Nicely done.
And you know what you're going to like to watch? The back of your eyelids, because we're done with the show and he's going to go home and sleep.
I got to eat first and then I'll sleep.
But yeah, absolutely. Nothing puts you to bed faster than a good meal.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get out of here, tell everybody where they can check you out, follow you, and come harass you with terrible Mo Bamba videos.
Well, if you want to do that today, you can find me in my bedroom, in my bed. But otherwise, you guys can find me on the Fluffy Guru on Twitter. You guys can find me at Boom Crew Captain on Instagram. And as always, you guys can also find me as well on our page right here on YouTube. That is, of course, X Bomb Sports. If you guys want to follow us here, follow us on, like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel and stuff. We want to hear from you guys, obviously. So, yeah, you guys can catch me here every week, being the host and being the co-host when Drew's time
I have to cut you off.
Do we have breaking news?
Thank you for the update for my guy.
Jake Bradley, ladies and gentlemen.
Jake Bradley showing the update. Blockbuster and B-Mac in chat.
Sorry, B-Mac.
Ridiculous Blockbuster trade has just occurred. Packers are trading Pro Bowl wide receiver Devontae Adams to the Las Vegas Raiders for 2 prime 2022 picks. League sources tell ESPN. Aaron's got to be pissed.
Who called it, folks?
Oh, Karen's going to be crying.
Who called this? We said
wow.
We played the game, player swap, folks. And guess what? We got one going.
Wow.
He's going with his old teammate.
That's huge.
Wow.
That is huge. We will have more details on that and get into that more next week. But holy hell. Ooh, Raiders just became contenders, didn't they?
I can't wait to watch the AFC West.
Him and, oh, my God. They had to do, okay, well, the Raiders had to do something to contend with the offenses and what everyone else in that league, in that division is doing.
I just woke up a little bit.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, the table moved.
God, yeah. For sure. Oh, my. Sorry, B-Mac, I didn't see your message. Thank you, man.
I'm kind of lightheaded right now.
Yeah. Well,
damn. I'm glad to have him out of Green Bay for sure.
Absolutely.
Because who the hell does Rodgers have to throw to now? Holy cow, that's hilarious.
Have fun with Randall Cobb. He's your best friend, isn't he?
I think the Packers are drafting wide receivers this year.
This is magical. This is so good.
Do you think Karen demands a trade now?
Listen. Karen, whatever your name is at this point, I will say, lahu, the her. I don't know what you did to make Devontae Adams mad at you. I'm only assuming that, but man, you sure you didn't want to make that move to Denver now? Because if I were you, I would have seriously considered it at this point. Because at least you would have been playing in the same division with him. Wow. Wow. Amari Rodgers and Randall Cobb are his only 2 wide receivers. Have fun with that.
Wow. Okay.
All right, Aaron Jones, you're up.
Jeez. Talk about a
Oh,
nice way to send
I
off, huh?
can't wait to see what he says.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what he says. Oh, it's just like Christmas. This is football Christmas, folks. Truly is.
Okay. Well,
And we've got to go.
and
God
we've got to
damn
go.
it.
What a way to send everyone out.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it obviously
Next week, Wednesday when we talk football. We'll probably have a lot more to
That's a
say.
guarantee
We'll definitely
now.
have a lot more to say
That's a-
about this.
Oh my
But
God.
we're going to let him calm down and towel off real quick. But if you want to check me out, you can find me here on Wednesdays and Thursdays, sometimes hosting, sometimes not. And then if you want to check me out on social media, you can find me at d.gwil25 on Instagram and Drew Gwillem at Facebook.
Yep.
Our social medias, Facebook when it decides it wants to work someday. Hopefully, we'll find out.
We'll call it a lost cause
Yeah.
right now.
Well, right now it's a lost cause, but
Yes. We
we're
will
s-
see what the foreseeable future holds.
But if you want to check anything else out on there, you can go to facebook.com/Team XBomb Sports. Not to catch our live shows, but maybe some shows posted.
the new the shows we've done previously, they are coming, folks.
They will get there.
Facebook is
They will
going
be
through
there.
its process.
Yeah. But we still have a page. Still check that out.
Absolutely.
So do that. Twitter and Instagram. Follow us on other social medias at XBomb Sports on both Twitter and Instagram. We have stories, posts, updates. When, say, Facebook doesn't want to work, we'll post an update saying Facebook is being a little, you know what, today.
Yep.
So be on the lookout for anything there. If you have any emails, questions, comments, concerns, stop harassing Andrew. You can email us at xbsportsofficial@gmail.com.
Or just keep sending me of some hundreds of emails I've got of videos on videos on videos. And some people are now sending me some new ones, so I appreciate that. You're mixing it up. Some I didn't even know needed songs. But hey, to each his own.
Yeah,
To each his own.
absolutely. Check out the guys at Blow the Whistle on sportstownchicago.com every Monday at 2 to 4 p.m. And here on, not on Facebook, but YouTube, on Tuesdays from 5:30 to 6:30.
Yep.
And also simulcasting on Twitch when Twitch wants to work,
Yes.
if and when, at twitch.tv/xbombsports. Monday Motivation with Hannah B. Check her out. She has a great podcast, sends out positive vibes. You can find her on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, and more. Mondays suck. She brings in the positive vibes to everybody to start your week off right. So give her a listen. She does great work. And along with her great work, she is on 102.3 XLC. Listen to Hannah B. She does the afternoon drive from 3 to 7 p.m. Awesome work. She's been there for not quite a year yet, but
Feels like it's been a while.
it
now,
feels like
but-
it's been a long time because she's fit right in. She's doing an awesome job. So give her a listen. Give her a call even. Tell her we
Yeah.
said hi.
Absolutely.
And,
We're gonna. I've been saying it. We are gonna call her on the show at some point. It's going to happen. So Hannah, if you're watching, we won't say when, but you'll know it's coming.
she's
now.
working.
But yeah, that's true.
She's on air right now.
She can't pay attention. to us
15
right
minutes.
now.
Go give
Yeah,
her a listen.
Exactly.
After we're done here. Check out the parlay with Tony Lopez alongside NBA veteran and professional boxer Kendall Gill for all your boxing, MMA, and combat sports at theparlay.com.
Yep.
And that's all we've got.
All right. There you go, folks.
Thanks for being here this week. It was good talking sports, as usual.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff happened at the end of the day. Andrew needs to calm down. Again, towel off. He's still not there.
I just want to say really quickly, it's so nice that we finally caught breaking news
Right after the show.
Every time it hits with us, it's show's over. Oh, breaking news. Finally caught something, folks. All right, I'm good.
We got it.
Yes.
Well, hopefully we'll have more breaking news coming next week.
Oh,
So
yeah.
We will see you guys next week. Have a great, safe weekend. From us here at XBomb Sports, we'll see you next week.